All right, bet. This is another episode of Draconian Combat. We have a guest today, Bruce Leroy, here to
Yes,
share
sir,
about
sir.
his fighter experience and just everything he wants to say. I think Michael told me he wants to get something off his chest about the fight game, or I'm not exactly sure, but we're going to give him that floor to do it. And obviously, if you've seen our show before, we're pretty unfiltered. We say what we think. It just is what it is. And so first, let's Bruce, how are you doing? How's your weekend going? Are you gonna watch any fights this weekend? I know we got some boxing and UFC. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm chilling, man.
Yeah, it's good to see that smile, man. It's good to see that smile on both ends. So, you know, I'm doing all right. And in terms of maybe fights that I might be partaking in this weekend, I don't really know, man. To be honest with you, I'm probably the one fighter that has to actually go look at everything and download the facts in my brain about who's fighting and this and that.
Yeah.
As a fighter, and you're very dedicated to your career, you have to kind of just keep up with what you're doing, and that's not a self-centered thing. It's just you want to get to where they're at, and you can't get there always worrying about where they're at. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
that's a
So
that's a good point because I think one of the guys fighting this weekend, his name is Anthony Hernandez. He said he doesn't watch UFC. He's a UFC fighter. He said, "Yeah, I don't watch other dudes." And there are a lot of cases, I think, of fighters who aren't as big of fans as they are just like the craft, right? I'm
yes,
not a fighter like you and Mike, but I guess I'm a fan, so I watch a lot.
yes.
Mike watches, I think, a decent amount. But to your point, and we can maybe build on that a little bit further. Where are you fighting from? If you want to give us a background on that, where are you fighting from? How long you've been fighting? And then how would you kind of explain your style?
Okay, so I'm from Compton, California. That's
Okay.
that's where I'm from. And I am a MMA fighter,
Mhm.
but I wouldn't specifically. Oh, and I've been doing MMA for since I was about 16. I wasn't fighting at 16, but I was training. Took my
Mhm.
first fight at 18. But yeah, I'd say my style is based around freestyle. It's whatever I'm feeling. Some
Yeah.
days I come in the gym and I want to feel like Ilya Taporia. Some days
Mhm.
I come in the gym and I want to feel like Silva. And at the end of the day, it's not who I want to feel like. It's what the other guy's style is bringing to the table to make me. How is his style making me react? You can't fight the same with everyone. You
Yeah,
know
Right.
you're
what I'm
just
saying? And
flowing.
that's why it's good to be proficient in each craft, which is being the jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, boxing, even kickboxing is a form. All of these things, you must be proficient for the simple fact that everybody has a style, and one man may have a style to counteract your go-to. So if
Right.
your go-to is not working, proficiency in other areas will be the best thing. So I would say I'm just a freestyle fighter, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stuff the takedown. I'm anti jujitsu, so I'm trying to base my style off of shutting down jujitsu in
Okay.
wrestlers.
I see what you
So
mean.
yeah, I'm a pure striker, and I'll stand and bang with a guy all day. Once he goes for the takedown, I'm breaking him down and trying to get back up to my feet. But I'll engage with a guy. I'm comfortable, but
Yeah.
I don't want to be there.
I see what you're saying. No, that's a good point, and that's a good breakdown of your style. And I like how you sort of phrased it as far as you're not stubborn, so you're pretty much you can adjust to what's coming your way. And that's kind of how it sounds like when you mention that freestyle. One day I can feel like Taporia for that boxing. You
Yep.
know Taporia moves, right? And then Silva, which is like one of my favorites, right? Just the spider, of course. Michael, did you want to build on that?
About his
I
style.
know you kinda
No, one thing he was saying, because I'm kind of the same way, like, but I have an opposite style of, I think, of you. But
Yep.
I also have a way of flowing differently. And going off of what you were saying, everybody's style is different. So it's like, how can you adapt? And for me, that's always been my style, is flowing and adapting with whatever I come face to face with. So that was one thing I found interesting about what you said, because it kind of resembled my style, but different styles, but still the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bruce, would you say have you run across a fighter who I don't think I've asked your record, but have you run across someone whose style was just like, you know what, this might be too much for me? And have you run across somebody where you're like, anything I do, they can't stop? Have you been on both ends of
Um,
the spectrum?
um, no, to be honest, I can't really answer that
Uh,
any other way than honestly, and that's
yeah,
just no. I've never looked at my style and was like, oh, I'm unstoppable, or I'm
yeah,
just a reckless guy and I'm this dangerous guy. I realized that I have dangerous attributes in my style, and so
mhm,
does every other man. But
right,
the key word there is man, and we are all man. So all it takes is one shot to
yeah,
turn the trajectory of the fight in the other's favor. So I mean, I never looked at myself as like a subservient guy to everyone else. I just look at myself as another fighter that's out here trying to make it, and I just happen to be talented and gifted in certain aspects of the game. Now, in terms, I've fought 5 fights,
uh-huh,
um, and a few of those just did not go my way. Like I just a lot of the fights that I had, I took with no questions, and I took them like sometimes I took a fight like 2 weeks from each other,
yeah,
and there's no excuse there. I did not train the proper necessities to prepare myself. I was not equipped. You get what I'm saying? I thought my striking was going to be the thing that carried me through all the fights to the UFC, but that is not the case. The case is you must train all aspects of fighting to call yourself a complete fighter or a complete martial artist, and that's what I lack. So to answer your question, I fought guys that I just felt I could not beat simply because I knew I didn't put in the work in that area to beat him. You
hmm,
know,
yeah,
so it's just a 50-50. It's like I've fought guys where it's like, yeah, I'll beat the shit out of you striking. I'll fuck you up.
yeah,
But let this
Grappling.
guy get a good takedown on me.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm fucking squirming, you get me? So it's like it's a 50-50, and I just gotta respect everybody for where they're at.
oh, that's a
You know,
good
I've
point.
been there too, Harrison. I think, you were there for that loss, my
Right,
first loss. And that's another situation. Like I shouldn't have taken that fight. And that was the first time I was at Team Body Shop. I was training for that fight. I took the fight on 4 weeks notice. Wasn't
yeah,
training
Yep.
at all. And I said, fuck it, because I've been cutting weight my whole life since wrestling in high school. So cutting weight for me is nothing. I can do that. The problem was is I wasn't my striking was on point, but maybe my grappling wasn't so much on point. I
the
haven't
grappling
grappled with
wasn't there that
nobody in
fight.
like 5 months, bro. So that's not good, especially going against a judo dude. And that
Yeah. Oh
dude,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that dude
Yeah.
got me to the ground and picked at me with some punches, and then won a decision. So I can relate to you in that sense because I've been there too.
Do you guys think, and it's not an excuse, but it just is what it is, having not having a full training camp impacts your performance? Because a lot of
No,
people
Um.
write
as
this
long as
off.
you're always training, I feel like if you're always in the gym, if you're always hustling, if you're always grinding, then a full fight camp should be about 5 weeks if you're always doing it. I think it depending on the opponent too, because if on a higher
Now.
level, I feel like maybe you do need more time. When you start to get to UFC level and stuff like that. But
Yeah, I'm curious
I'll let
about both your takes. You guys might have different opinions, but I'm
yeah,
curious.
yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go for it, Bruce. What were you saying?
Well, it's interesting. You rephrase the question so I can just make sure that my response is,
Yeah. So,
accurate.
do you think?
Say what you think too, man.
Yeah, yeah. Say yeah. And do you think having shorter training camps impacts your performance on fight night? Do you think there's a big impact on your performance if you have a short training camp?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I think it does have a big impact,
Okay.
regardless of the fact that you're consistently training, right?
Okay, I see.
Because we all know you got guys that go in the gym and they give it their all 110%. They spar hard, they train hard, they grapple hard, they're beating their bodies up, and it's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. That's some people train like that. But what you got to understand is when in non-camp, you're in non-camp longer than you're in camp. You're only in camp a certain amount of time leading up to the fight. The all the work that you do leading up to a fight camp is very impactful to how you actually perform within that camp. So if you're not living or producing, you know, if your maximum output is before your camp and then you get into a camp and then put maximum output and then but your camp is short at that, you got to think your camp is not only for your physical performance, it is also for your mental performance. So if you are constantly working, and then you get up to that camp point, you get what I'm saying? You following me?
Yeah, I'm following.
You constantly working and you get up to that camp point. And once you get up to that camp point, your mind, no matter what work you did before your camp started, it does not feel the same as that training that you're about to go do when that camp starts. Your mind is now actively thinking, I'm about to go fight. It is more serious. So now you're
Your
starting to take
training
more
starts.
accountability for your time. And if you miss short time or take a short notice fight, that is very much that strong time that you need to mentally prepare, to physically prepare, to ice. You know what I'm saying? To relax. You get what I'm saying? To write down certain things, planning. All of these things are things that you do inside a camp as an amateur and a professional fighter. So if you are trying to become a professional fighter, it is best that full camps, full camps, because like I said, this is the main point. The work that you did yesterday is different from the work that you're about to do today. So if your camp is today, all that you did yesterday does not matter because the thought is different. You weren't training. You're training. You're staying in shape. Yeah, you're training and staying around shape in case a fight comes. But when that fight comes and it's confirmed and you're day one in camp, all that shit goes out the window. It's game time, and that's why you need all your time for camp. That's why you should never take a short notice fight.
No, I agree. Because I to explain to you a little bit different, Harrison. So think about it this way. So when I'm thinking about off of what I just said is somebody who's staying in the gym and training and then going into fight camp. So think about it like this. So training consistently means showing up, um, doing what you're supposed to do. Maybe your diet's a little bit more lenient. You can eat a little
Right.
bit more. You can definitely drink all the water you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which allows you to train a little bit harder. But once that fight camp hits, one, like he was saying, the mentality is different mentally.
Yes.
Physically, it's different because now you're starting to consume less calories. And you're starting to train a lot harder. You're starting to push yourself a lot harder, physically and mentally.
Yes.
I think you both are making the distinction between someone who's fight ready versus someone who's camp ready. And so there's being like fight ready, which is, hey, I'm still going to the gym. I'm not going overboard with my diet, but there's still room for some breathing room. And then there's completely being out of shape and then taking a short notice fight.
Yeah,
That's what I
basically.
think you did, Michael.
Yeah,
I'm not,
hey,
There,
you,
there's
you ain't
been
gotta
there.
put it in my face.
That's a tricky topic to
yeah,
discuss on because then I'm one of those guys, but a lot of people who will see this will call me a hypocrite because they'll go, oh well, Bruce, you don't fucking train for fight, because that's one of my things. Sometimes I just call my coach, hey man, I got to fight, I'm about to come in the gym 3 weeks and boom, and they're like, bro, what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes that is why fights don't go our way. A lot of times we get in the gym and we want to do what we want to do
Well, can I
instead of
ask you a
taking the
question?
precautions.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
before I lost that fight, I was definitely training a lot more, but I never went to the gym, dude. I trained a lot by myself. I trained a lot with my dad, and I got all my experience with sparring. I'd spar a shit ton. So, going off what you were saying, damn, I done lost my point. What are we talking about, bro?
yeah. We're talking about
I probably should have smoked weed before the show.
we're talking about
What
the
we just
mental and physical priming before a fight, in a sense.
damn, I forgot my fucking point, bro. Damn. Well,
I'm
I
keeping,
should
I think
hit the.
your question was about the lead up to asking me, is it imperative that you have a team while training? Were you about to say something like that?
I
Like
think we are going along those lines because Michael, you were saying how you didn't necessarily, you weren't training with a team. You were doing everything solo
Oh,
dolo.
yeah. So like, yeah. So the reason I lost too is because I wasn't training at all. I wasn't doing nothing really. But mentally, I can just hop back into that shit and just start up again. I know the first 2 weeks are gonna suck, but before that fight, even though I wasn't in the gym training doing technique, I was always in the gym sparring, and I always had a target on my back. I always had a target on my back because I was that dude that never trained, but I go to sparring and I get the better end of somebody. Sometimes somebody that's training harder
Mm-hmm.
than me. But that's where I had a lot of my wars at. That's where I had a lot of my experience, and that's where I got hurt the worst and hurt the most is in sparring. But my first fight that I lost, I stopped training. I think COVID hit, and I just stopped training. Terrible excuse because I shouldn't have stopped training anyways. But I just stopped training. I'm being honest, and I took that fight on short notice. And because I was relying on my hands, which I knew I had, I wasn't expecting that judo to be turning me a different way because I wasn't in the gym grappling with fools. And like off my point, I would spar, but I also would live grapple too. I make sure I had a balance of both, but I wasn't doing any of that. And yeah, I'm not sure what my point was, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's like sparring, right?
Yeah.
What's your sparring philosophy? And that's a question to both of you, and I'll let you go
Wait, wait,
first.
wait, wait, wait. Not to cut you. Can we
But
smoke on the show?
yeah,
Yeah, you can
man.
do what you want. I'm not
Yeah,
going
I'm
to do
about
it,
to
but
light up a fucking
you can
joint,
do what
man.
you want.
Fuck it,
Yeah,
man.
you
Come
good.
on. Come on.
No,
I'm
you
not
good.
going to do it, but yeah, our guests can do whatever they want. We don't care.
But I think Bruce, what I was gonna ask you was what's your philosophy on sparring, right? Is it,
Yeah, that's a good question.
hey,
Oh,
we're 80% today, or I go at the level the guy is going at. If he wants to raise it up, then I'll raise it up. If he wants to tone down, I'll tone down. Or, how does that change when now you're about 2 weeks out and it's like I might have to get some more serious sparring in so I'm fight ready, but I can't get injured either. What's your philosophy behind sparring as it concerns the training camp up until the fight week, so to speak?
so my philosophy for that and for life. Listen close.
Yeah.
The secret awakes eyes unclouded by ambition. Those who are bound by desire see only that which can be held in their hands, which simply means my
Mhm.
objective in sparring is not to hurt nor kill my uki, which is a Japanese term for partner,
Yeah.
which in out here we use it as sparring partner. My intent is not to kill you. My intent is not to permanently scar you or break you. My intent is to tag you with the purpose of seeing if my technique that I've been working so hard to ever so long perfect is going to work.
Yeah.
If it's not going to work, I get punished for it, but not in a way where it's a permanent effect or a long-term effect, right?
Right.
So that's the secret. But the secret awakes eyes, which is unclouded by ambition. Those who are bound by desire see only that which can be held in their hands. That's the opposing side to that is if my partner can't see the bigger picture, which is we're sparring for higher level, we're sparring for sharpening iron, we're sparring
Right.
for tool building, skill based building. If they can't see that, then you don't spar with them because they're unclouded by ambition. They have a smoke screen. They don't realize that
The
there's
higher
the
purpose.
higher point here. You get what I'm saying? So that's my philosophy in life. And it's just if you're clouded by ambition in life, in a general sense, in the streets, you die. If you clouded by ambition at work, you get fired. You get what I'm saying? So going for what you feel you want too much will cloud you by ambition, and you won't see the purpose in what you're supposed to have.
That's a good point. And I think, obviously I've sparred a little bit, but I always hear about stories, right? Some guys go too hard. Some guys leave sparring sessions bloody. You see videos, you see rumors circulate around the UFC. Alex Pereira, he's kind of built a rep for sparring pretty
Did he
hard.
cut out?
Um, did Michael cut out? Maybe.
No, I'm still here. Alex Pereira is actually good at sparring because he can spar with somebody big, he can spar with somebody small, and he can spar with somebody who's not on his level.
Well,
Like he
see,
has a
Yeah,
good
Alex
experience.
Pereira,
I just
he's a
heard
good
people say
fighter
things.
and a good sparring partner because out of all the videos I've seen with Pereira, he spares you. You know, he doesn't. He's not trying to take your head off. He's the champion. He knows that, and if it just looks like Pereira never has anything to prove, and that's why he's probably my favorite fighter, and I admire Alex Pereira for sure.
Yeah, I feel like Pereira is he's pretty centered in himself. Like he doesn't feel like he needs to be. People know who Pereira is. You're like the top dog. You don't have to go prove yourself compared to somebody like maybe a Strickland. I don't really know. I've heard some bad sparring stories about Strickland. I'm trying to think of people in boxing. People used to say Joaquin Buckley, but I think that was one dude. But
I've had a bad incident. Remember Harrison?
with the dude who tried,
Is he still on?
the dude who need
Yeah,
you
I'm
or
still
something.
on. Can you hear me?
Was he talking the whole time?
No.
Michael wasn't. I just got done. I think Michael was going to talk about that
Oh
incident.
no, your screen was cutting out the whole time.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking, but it's all good. I'm good now. I think, right?
Yeah, I think the video cut out, but the audio was still going.
I got
Yeah, I
back.
didn't even hear the audio.
Oh, my bad.
No,
Yeah,
you're good. You're good.
Michael, you can go with that story you were about to say.
Nah, because we're talking about bad sparring, and I had a bad sparring incident where I had a fight for Hendo's fight night,
Right.
and this is pre-COVID, so like 5 days, no, I think it was like 6 to 7 days before they shut everything down. I had a fight, and I went to this dude's gym to train to get some sparring in though, just like moving around to finish cutting weight, stuff like that. And I had a bad problem because I'm working, and then I go to shoot for a takedown, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He threw a kick, but the knee landed on my head, and it hit me so hard that my face was swollen here, and my jaw was swollen here. That's how hard he hit me.
Mm.
And my thing is, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because I think he did. I think he did it on purpose. I think he threw a knee, but maybe he threw a kick. But my thing is, off of your point, is why are you sparring that hard with somebody when you know they got a fight coming up in less than a week? Somebody who's experienced sparring should be touching. Just touching, touch, tap, 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 tap. You should know and have that experience with somebody that has a fight coming up to not go that hard. And
Well,
that was a bad
uh,
experience that I went through. And actually, I think you trained with him before, dude. Fuck it, we're on the show. I think you trained with him before. His name is Christian.
Christian. Christian.
You guys went to like a Muay Thai event or something, and you guys happen to be at the same Muay Thai seminar or something. But his name's Christian. He's from California. He has a gym out in Orange County, and you would know him if you
I'm
saw
not.
his face.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that guy's name. But yeah, to go off of that point, you know, you got little insecure egomaniacs that you know, they don't know how to comprehend uh uh playful sparring, and that's what makes the Thai people in Thailand so special. If you notice, those guys have 300 plus fights, and they can still have a full conversation with you without stuttering. Not all of them, but the good majority of them can, and one of the best ones being Bull Cow, one of the best ones being Sanchai.
Right.
Guys like Superlek, even guys like Rodtang. Even in British guys like Jonathan Haggerty. These guys have
I
so
think
many
Haggerty
fights,
fought,
and
I think today or something, if I'm not mistaken, because I watch a lot of one championships.
yeah,
So I'm familiar with those guys, right? I think every Friday one's on. Um, but I feel like those guys, their background, the Muay Thai background, Tiger Muay Thai, I think that's the big place over there. I think Peter Yan may have trained there. It's just a different philosophy. Like I don't have a chip on my shoulder. Like I don't need to try and prove something to you guys, right? But to you guys' point, and you guys know better than me, it's like the egos. It's like let me get off on somebody who's not really trying to. It's nasty to me. That type of energy is just real nasty to me. It doesn't feel right. Like to try and get off on somebody who's not there to like. If we're not sparring at 100, why am I going to try and take advantage of you? But that's just how I look at it. Maybe
yeah.
y'all look.
You can't really. It's sometimes like when a guy like, and it's just a gym environment, and you got to think, man. A lot of these guys are on steroids, and you don't know.
Good point.
You get what I'm
And
saying? Like,
how prevalent would you say steroids are in mixed? Like, if you have your whole gym, right? The guys who are quote unquote fighters, how many would you
That's a crazy
suspect are?
question, Harrison, to ask him in that way.
Well, yeah, it is. Huh? Let me say,
Just
you know what?
ask him in
Yeah, I was
general.
gonna say not my gym. Not my
Let's
gym.
let's not body shop.
CMMA is very clear.
Yeah, let's in general, both of you guys. You know, I'll throw my estimate out there. I think about 50%.
Yeah, definitely on the lower levels if you're not like the UFC or something.
Good point. And then it's like, well, are they really cheating if there's no quote
TRT,
unquote? You said what?
TRT, that's a huge thing.
Testosterone replacement?
But like high levels, like beyond what you even need, that makes you like fucking like Drago.
So I guess I'm trying to
Beast
get
from
at,
Belfort.
are people taking these things to feel angry, or are you
Nah.
reacting faster? Or you
They're
have
taking these things because they're cowards and they're afraid of putting their true physical spirit
Mhm.
to the test in front of a crowd. They're afraid of taking a loss. And
I
and a lot of these guys are coming from nothing. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So they want to hurry up and speed up the process and take a bunch of steroids and beat up on a guy that ain't on no roids and then and get all the glory for it. But I mean, you got to think about it like this. Only that man knows when he goes home and looks himself in the mirror at night and it's just him. Only he knows he's a fraud. You get what I'm saying? Because any man that uses steroids to me is a fraud. And I got plenty of homies that use them. I got plenty of boys that I know because I'm gonna repost this video. They're gonna see this and be angry, but I don't care. You're a fraud. And if you use steroids, and if your coach knows you use steroids, he's a fraud because number one, a coach that genuinely cares about his fighters is not going to allow his fighter to continue to do something that's contributing to the death of his health.
And to the
You
other
get
fighter, you're putting the other fighter's health in
Yeah,
jeopardy.
and that you get what I'm saying. But first and foremost, just think about you first. Think about
Yeah,
what your self-preservation is rule number one. So if that's the case, fuck the other fighter for right now. It's
I
not
hear you.
fuck him, but it's fuck him for right now. Think about you. Think about how many cycles are you gonna go through before you fucking die? And then if
But
you
that's just exactly why people are doing it. They're thinking self-preservation. I'm not going to die in there. I'm going to get on these roids, you know, for the time being. I hear what you're
yeah,
saying. Though. Go ahead.
but you got to think about it like this. That's see, MMA is relatively new. Is what 30, 35 years old, relatively, and you know it's a bunch of fucking meathead idiots in this sport. And just allow me to share this explanation
Yeah,
real quick.
you good. Yeah,
Boxing is a cultured thing. It's a brother thing, a melanated thing. Even
I agree.
Michael has melanation in a way, you know. But let's put this here on the table. MMA was created because boxing was the one thing. If you did it, it was a white man couldn't survive in boxing.
No, they
A
couldn't. They
a
still
white
can't.
champ,
To be honest.
a white champ couldn't be born during the reign of Ali and Frazier and Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hitman Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard and gods like that. You get what I'm saying?
I
So
agree.
so the great white hope and the great Mexican hope, the Mexican man and the black man are the only two prevalent men in boxing history. The white man comes to boxing. He can't make a lane in boxing because he's getting shitted on. Then they open up a lane for MMA. Now you have white constructors. Now you have white owners. Now you have white platform makers giving them away. Now you got wrestling. And now you got these Chinese and Japanese motherfuckers perfecting jujitsu and all these techniques to add to it because the Chinese man can't box. You could count on one fucking hand how many Chinese men it is, and this is not a racial thing, but
It is what it
this is
is.
a factual thing. So when you create MMA, it allows a lane for all others to have a chance at success for combat sports. So therefore, now it circles back to the original point. MMA is one of those fucking sports where it's a bunch of meatheads and new fucking guys coming in here that can't survive in the other lanes. And they want to, MMA is savagery. It's That's why these motherfuckers are doing these roids, because as a human being, to be able to withstand for 5 fucking rounds, 25 minutes straight. You get kneed in your fucking face. You're getting elbowed. Motherfuckers are getting cut. Their orbital bones are falling out their fucking faces, but they can still fight. That is steroids. Because
Yeah,
we
'cause I'm
see
like,
what happens to a natural fighter that takes a limit of punishment where it's like, okay, this is borderline, like this motherfucker is getting abused in here.
Strickland.
We see what happens. He either taps, the ref stops it. It's called a stoppage for a reason. You notice how fucking bloody or how cut up a guy has to be for it to fucking be a stoppage, bro? In boxing, now see, there's a spinoff to that. In boxing, it is a little more dangerous simply because of the three knockdown and one round rule. Some of these guys' wheels just won't let them get knocked, you know?
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I say that to say the steroids is a big issue, and partially the reason why it's a big issue is because the sport is still so new and it's controlled by others, and it's not a MMA is not a fucking worldwide thing, so nobody really gives a fuck. To the drug testing really doesn't fucking matter. The white boys are gonna do what the white boys are gonna do. But in boxing, try to fight Floyd Mayweather on fucking steroids. You can't. You can't.
No,
no,
Mayweather's gonna.
Mayweather, he was checking gloves. He had
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It ain't none of that shit.
Yeah,
Hell
but
no.
even if they got through, they still gotta fight him in the ring though. That's the thing.
right.
Mayweather shut that shit down.
He was
People like
And
to hate on him, but they can't. They can be mad all he wants
I
about that
hate on
defense.
Mayweather. I feel like Mayweather cherry picks certain fights. I feel like he,
Later in his career, he did. Yeah.
regardless of my opinion, the man's business acumen IQ is so high
It was very
that
high.
you can't swindle him. What did he tell Maidana? What did he tell Pacquiao? Nah, motherfucker. Nah, you want to fight me? You gonna receive a drug test all through your camp, motherfucker,
Yeah.
all the way up to the day of the fight. And if
that
you
goes,
ain't agreeing to them terms,
Mhm.
it's over with. You ain't getting no bag from me because I'm the holder. That's
I'm
one
his
thing that
fight.
MMA don't got is the bosses. Everybody is the hoe. Dana White's the pimp. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a
Harrison will agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. I have my thoughts about Dana White, and Dana, if you're seeing this, then I'm not gonna hold back. Actually, I'll say this: the Dana White plays the pimp. Pimp slapped his wife. Ain't nothing happened. But hey, man,
Yeah.
that's Dana, right?
Well,
I guess.
well,
Go ahead.
well. The laws. Yeah. The laws, out here, only apply to the Negro man and the immigrants and everybody like that. But to the white man, yeah, a white man can slap his bitch all he want. He can bitch, boom, right in front of the cops and probably get away with it. But you got to think, America was built on the backs of our blood. On a look, look, look. It's so fucking deep. The MMA community is so baffled by how much fighters get paid and in comparison to boxers and all of this, right?
Yeah.
But it stems so fucking deep that it goes to culture, it goes to American history, it goes to how this shit was founded. It's that deep, bro. You have like when you call yourself a fighter, you got to think, okay, well, I'm in this sport. Yeah, well, I'm not just gonna do the fighting. I'm gonna do the history. Where did this shit originate? Who controls this shit? I heard a powerful saying is, yeah, everybody want to play for the team, but don't nobody want to ask who the fuck owns the team. You get what I'm saying? So when you say Dana White slap, yeah, he can slap and do whatever the fuck he want. Anything damn near that ain't crossing murder. You feel what I'm saying? Because he's the pimp. You got to put yourself in his position as our skin tone and see how they fear us and see how much respect there is, man. You get what I'm saying?
I got
I know what
something
you're
to say.
saying.
I
Go
got
ahead.
something to say. Um, I didn't say all what you just said, but I can give an example to what you said though. So let's take John Jones, Conor McGregor. Why does one get treated different when they both do crazy shit?
Because Conor McGregor is a rich white man from Dublin, Ireland, with a ginger beard, and he knows how to talk shit, and he did the right shit in business, and
Talk
he
shit.
got the money to back it up. And John Jones, he ain't got nearly as much money as Conor McGregor, but you can't really use them type of niggas because Conor McGregor ain't really doing half the. He ain't
Okay.
really doing the shit that John Jones was doing, bro.
What about Mayweather?
Nah, I'd say McGregor's way worse with all the stuff that dropped about him. Um,
Man, what punching niggas in the bus, doing cocaine and doing what every other
dude,
white man is doing?
dude, you know how many cases you know how many R cases McGregor has drop a week? Them things drop
You
like
think
the
they're real
day.
though, Harrison? You think they're real?
Man, but the nigga ain't in jail.
Dude,
But he ain't in jail. He's a white
yeah,
man.
you
Of
know how they
course, that
treat these
plays a
people.
part. That plays a part. But you got to think. You got to think, bro. When it comes to rape and things of that sort and molestation,
That's a big claim.
I don't. I ain't gonna play no skin. No, I ain't gonna play the race card on that one. I'm gonna say it's straight like that. So
I am.
If McGregor really committed them crimes, I'm gonna say put his ass in jail and he should be in jail. But motherfucker, what?
I think, and I think
It
what
could
makes
be
her.
extortion. It could be.
No,
You never know.
I think.
And to answer the question about John Jones, any man. Now look, I fucking love John Jones. I have nothing bad to say about the nigga. But any nigga, if you get in the car drunk and you speed and you crash into a pregnant woman and do some reckless ass shit like that versus a nigga slapping his bitch, nigga, you gonna get the more publicity. What you think? You over here hitting you handcuffed, slamming your head on the car window. You doing some crazy shit. You on multiple accounts, drunk driving, telling police fuck you and who you are. Hey, look, at least we don't see these motherfuckers in custody acting like this. You got to think they're only you black, my nigga, and you acting like this. You making it worse on yourself.
Yeah, that was a
So
bad
if a
example.
nigga slaps his wife, yes, that's still terrible. But in comparison to John Jones smacking his car into a pregnant woman, you don't think the highlight is not going to mediate that propaganda to automatically turn the faces off of Dana White?
Oh, I know that, but I don't care. It's Dana. Forget Dana.
Hey, Harrison does not like Dana. I like Dana, man.
No.
I ain't got no problem
Hey,
with Dana.
hey, hey, look, man,
I have
you can't hate
I
on a
like
man for
Dana.
pimping on stupid motherfuckers who don't know.
I like Dana and I don't like Dana. Like cause I think Dana's actually like a cool dude who you could have like a beer with in that sense. But at the same time, he like does stuff that pisses me off. Like sometimes it's his head shape that bugs me, right? And I got the same head. But I'm just like, dude, I don't know what it is
But
about
see,
Dana.
now you speaking from an emotional standpoint, and you're letting see Dana White is a man that's supposed to teach you. You get what I'm saying? You're supposed to look at Dana White and copy his business acumen,
His business
IQ,
acumen
and,
is there. Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah, but you can't let his personal affairs and what he indulges in his personal life bother you on any type of level.
Oh,
Because
it
at the end of the
doesn't
day,
bother me, but I like hating on him. It's fun.
no, but I'm just saying, at the end of the day, you really don't know the man. What if you met the nigga and he told you, "Hey, look, man, I got a thing for you. I want you to replace Joe Rogan and do this because
You
I've
know
seen
what?
some of your
Michael and I have had
podcasts."
this conversation because I was thinking, I was like, you know what, Harrison? What if one day you were a matchmaker for Dana White? I said, you know what? I would still feel the same way about him, but I'm a matchmaker. I might not call you a woman. You're still a woman beater, but you know what? I'll chill on you, Dana. Let me go make these fights. That's how.
Man,
But
hey,
hey,
man, all I'm
I'm still
saying is
thinking
I
about.
like Dana White. He's a smart man. And he ain't doing nothing wrong, man. He doing his fucking job. Shit, man. Look. If everybody just stopped fighting for the UFC and said, fuck Dana, literally all the fighters, and we ain't gonna fight until this nigga, because he got enough money to pay us. It's like the NFL. If one man got enough money to pay all these motherfuckers 100 million, how much does he have?
Yeah.
Are you so Dana White, if you got enough money to pay one man 5 million, If you got enough money to pay the whole card over $1 million, nigga, it's all them stupid motherfuckers' fault. You can't hate Dana White. He's doing his job. He's a white man capitalizing on a bunch of niggas that don't know they fucking worth.
I agree.
Because the white boys is doing they in their lane. They doing their thing. You get what I'm saying? But you got dudes in Ganu and all these dudes saying, "Oh, I ain't gonna take this fight unless I get X amount of money." Well, if everybody start fighting for the UFC and demand their money like they're supposed to because you're the one putting in the work, nigga, then what? But nobody's doing that. Everybody's taking the money that he's giving and still complaining, and I don't like that. Do something about it.
That's why I like what Ngannou did. He complained and said, "All right, well, I'm gonna go to boxing," and got paid. Right. I don't think most of these fighters have the guts to really, because it's like the UFC is still the glory.
I don't think a lot of them have the power to do that here. So that was Francis Ngannou. He could just jump from UFC to a boxing match with the biggest boxing star because of his face, his star power in the UFC. I don't think a lot of fighters can do that in the UFC unless they're like top caliber.
Well, the thing is, because you have the UFC and then you have someone like the PFL, right? So the PFL, it seems like they're making more money. Maybe I'm wrong for winning these tournaments, but at the same time, the PFL, the glory is not the same. And then the highest at the UFC get paid more than the highest at the PFL or Bellator or whatever. So it's like, which one do you want? Do you want the glory and the money that comes with the UFC, but maybe you have to work harder, or do you want the B tier league with the money? And that's a question I asked you guys. Say you're offered contracts from both leagues. Which one are you going with? Which one are you going with?
Well, I'm going with the UFC because it's been my lifelong dream to go there.
That's
So
fair. Yeah.
I'm going to the UFC, but you got to think. You have to go into the UFC understanding that I'm not going to get paid Bellator money.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hypothetically speaking, if Bellator is paying more than the UFC, you have to go in there thinking, okay, I'm not going to get paid that, but it's about my dream. And therefore, you go into the UFC and use that brand to monetize other things for you. The UFC is not just for you to fight. The UFC is for you to use your brand to start coaching, to use your brand to open up a gym when you get enough fights. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? To use your brand to start like all kind of
Good
things like
point.
that.
Yeah. No, that's how somebody should be looking at it instead of just, Dana, please, can I fight? And then looking at that as your own source of income, so to speak, right? Sean O'Malley, a good example that
Yeah,
Michael's brought up, is someone who's been more like industrious or business minded, weed snacks and stuff like that, but doing his thing, right?
Yeah,
I'm
he's his
not,
own rappers too. I think he has his own like weed raps and stuff too.
yeah, stuff
nigga,
like that, right? It's
Joaquin Buckley, to keep it
I
even
like
on a
Bucky.
more local sense. That dude, I think you remember that famous spinning back kick he did when he caught the
yeah.
kick.
Yeah,
Basically, he was working. I think he still works at Walgreens.
He said I remember
he
him mentioning.
does.
I don't think he's still
Yeah,
working. I think he's making enough money now, but I think there was a
no,
time
I think he still works at Walgreens, bro. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I really think he. But regardless to say, he was in the UFC
He
and
was
still
working
working
at
for
Walgreens
Walgreens.
in the UFC. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
Pantoja was doing Uber and being the
Uber. Yeah.
champion.
yeah.
Hey, that's a good point though, because a lot of fighters in the UFC who aren't top caliber, who aren't getting the pay-per-view shows, not quite yet. They're working their regular jobs. Like Demetrius Johnson's a good example. He was still doing his job. He had to ask his boss off for like 4 days off so he could go defend his title.
Bruh,
Like
that's
that's when he
crazy.
had the belt. So,
Now
You
look,
can't
I
really
have a
knock that.
question for you guys.
what's
Yeah,
up?
What's your opinion on Marab?
I like Marab. I like him. I think before this fight, his style was pretty boring, but his last fight, he fought. He showed that his cardio is insane. He
I think
has.
he shows that every fight.
Yeah, you could say his cardio. Actually, that's true. You could say his cardio is there every fight, but he showed me that don't sleep on Georgian wrestling, because I thought Nurmagomedov was going to take him, and Nurmagomedov looked outmatched in every aspect. He made Nurmagomedov look scared in there, low key, like clueless and
He dropped him.
bewildered. He dogged him. He low key broke him. I won't say that, but it's like, well, he
No, it
broke.
ain't no low key. He broke him.
He
He
broke.
broke him.
Michael, what's your response to that?
I mean, I think I don't know if I hated on Monroe, but I wasn't exactly a real fan of him until
Yeah, that's how I was.
I would say this last fight because he's fighting Umar, and that's his name, right? There's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many.
There's so many of them Nurmagomedov.
Yeah. He was fighting Umar, and he's undefeated, and then they have this aura. All the Habib type fighters with that style, they have this aura where they're undefeated and they can't really be beat. They're wrestling so dominant that they're almost like a fear to fighters in the division. And he just shut all that shit down in 25 minutes, dude. Shut it all down and made Umar look like an ordinary dude. And I think what made me respect him after this fight, I respect him before, but I think after this fight, I really appreciated him as a fighter because he never let off the brakes. And I don't even know if that's some. I mean, I know he trains really hard, but I think it's just genetic. Some dudes can push the pace and never get tired.
Yeah, dudes are
Rob is one
throwing
of those
around.
dudes, dude.
Dudes
And
are throwing around PED rumors about him now.
Yeah, I was
I
just
don't.
about to mention that.
At least on Twitter.
You think he is? I don't think he is.
I don't think he is.
I think he works. I think the top level
Yeah, I
dude.
think so too.
Well,
I
you
think he
also got to think
works,
about
and it's
this.
genetic too.
You got to think about the geography. Think about geography, man. Every place in the world produces different types of people. Certain dudes have a physical climate that makes their body prone to certain things. Certain dudes have a physical climate that makes their body just monster to certain shit. And in those type of climates, where Dagestan and Georgia and all these big tall places with mountains and shit, where all these dudes are at, that's all they're doing from a young age. And you got to think, these guys aren't smoking, these guys aren't drinking at a young age, these guys are fucking training. And you got to think, a historical fact is Russia invaded Georgia when Ilya Taporia was a kid. And if Ilya Taporia and Marab are anywhere around the same age, I believe that Marab would have experienced the same thing too. But they were invaded. And once they were invaded, that's why Ilya Taporia went to Spain. And then Marab, I forgot where he went, but then he returned back to Georgia. But the climates, all these things, the things that they went through, these type of things is what makes a machine like that. So along with his life experiences, the traumatic parts, and along with his his God-given area of from birth of training in the mountains, training at high altitudes, training at high capacities, no smoke, no drink, just all ethic. That is why his cardio is so good. So yes, it's genetic, but also is geographical. It's where the man was born. You know what I'm saying? All those kids have that fucking cardio. I guarantee you can go to fucking Georgia right now, and all them kids outrun you as a professional fighter. It's like Thailand. You got fucking 14-year-olds that will murder you. You get what I'm saying? Like it's the same concept. So Marav is simply a 4 or 5 year old Thailand kid that just grew up in Georgia that has the same regimen as a Thailander, but for grappling and cardio. And that's why he is the champion, and that's why he is one of the best bantamweights I've ever seen.
I won't put him in the GOAT category yet because I think I still have DJ up there.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, just because DJ is up there don't mean he can't be in the GOAT category.
Oh no, but I still want to see more from Rob because we're really just getting
I
started.
think he'd smash DJ.
Nah, ain't nobody
In this prime, in this DJ.
No, right now.
Oh, right now, maybe yeah.
I still don't even think he would smash him right now in his prime or right now.
No, DJ is not washed at all. DJ is still GOAT.
Yeah, he's not washed.
But I think Marab, I'm gonna take Marab on that one.
You know what though? I think that leads into a good question, and I'll close it with this. because we don't want to take all your time. But Demetrius Johnson got some pushback today, right? I was on Twitter just going through MMA, and then somebody said, man, this is why I don't like when fighters talk when they're retired. You just start to dislike them. I was just like, what did Demetrius Johnson do, right?
Was it those gay comments?
It was the gay comments. And so
Oh,
I
he
knew
made
he
he
was
made.
gonna say something about that.
Can
and
I
I said,
can I say
oh,
the F word on here?
yeah, go ahead.
So faggots. Let me explain something to you about homosexual people. Uh, uh, you shouldn't give a fuck about what a faggot got a dislike about what the fuck you say because they are. I don't give a fuck, bro. I just have my personal opinions on that, and I personally believe that if you dislike a man because he dislikes what you do, that just makes you ultra gay to me. I just feel like it's just stupid. Respect the man for his skill and not for what he likes or does not like in his personal shit. You know what I'm saying? These people are watching DJ's podcast and expecting this man to be their personal savior. No, he's your MMA savior. He's your teacher. He's your master. He's the sensei. So you watch him not for what he does in his personal life, but the greatness that he's giving you if you're an MMA guru. You feel what I'm saying?
That's how I look at it. I don't, and I'll let you cook in a second, Michael. If DJ said, "Man, I hate black people. I don't like them." In my okay, DJ, that's your personal life, whatever, dude. But obviously, that's not what he said, and he didn't even say anything crazy. I don't
It
want
wasn't
my
that bad.
I don't want my kids growing. I don't want my kids seeing my gay brother do gay stuff. And
Bro,
people,
it wasn't even as bad. Like it wasn't that bad.
it wasn't even what
I
I
think all
just
he
said.
said was, I think it was like something along the line as like, if my son came home and he was acting, doing some extra stuff, I would just say, stop with that gay shit. And that's all it was, right?
Hey, dude, these
It's
people
like
don't.
I don't get it. Like he
These
wasn't
people
going into
like,
detail. He wasn't being derogatory. He just kind of just said that was it. That's all he said. So I don't get the hate on it. But
I get
hey
why
man,
they're
I still like
haters
him.
because people are sensitive, and anything they feel like is slighting them, it's like
And that's the problem right there. And that's where I'm gonna stop you. You just said a key word. Anything they feel like.
right.
That word feel, emotion, emotional content, that word gets people in trouble. And
Yeah,
the world is based upon feelings these days instead of factual evidence, instead of hardcore proof, instead of what's really what the fuck it is. That's why I respect Charleston White so much because he's gonna tell the shit how it is. It's not about what the fuck you want to hear, it's about what you need to hear. And that's why people don't receive messages well because when I give messages, I give it just like this. I give it just like this to a kid. Because when I was a kid, this is how I got it. And this is how I learned how not to get fucked in life. And that emotional content is what fucks people. Oh, I feel like this. I feel like you're doing this to me. I feel like, no, fuck that. Fuck what you feel.
and,
What is the
and
message?
even if DJ came out and said something crazy, I don't want my kids gay. That'd be fine with me too. I
But
don't
Shit.
you know
want.
what's crazy, Harrison? You know
I
what's
don't want my
crazy?
kids gay.
A lot of these
If you
fighters
have
are
a
saying a
problem with
lot
that,
worse
I'm gonna
stuff.
assume you want your kids gay.
What were you saying, Michael?
No, I'm saying what's crazy is a lot of these fighters are saying a lot way
Worse,
worse stuff, a lot of racist shit, to be
right?
honest. And that don't get no that don't get no hate. I
Nothing.
just seen the other day Teofimo Lopez was saying he was talking about Terrence Crawford and somebody
And
else,
Tank
and he
and
was saying
with that monkey stuff, yeah.
tell the gorillas come get their bananas or something like that. And
And
I
nobody has an
started
issue.
reading the comments, and people are like, "Oh, people
Go
are being too
Tio.
sensitive. You know, it's not that serious." But it's like, damn, okay. When some racist shit happens, it's like we just kind of
Well,
turn our
And you
heads.
know
well,
what? And I'm not gonna be. I think Tio's wrong. I hope Tio gets slapped for
Bro, he
saying
was
this.
saying some crazy stuff.
No, he's been saying crazy stuff for a minute. Now, here's my thing. I'm not going to sit here and say, do I agree with Tio? No, I'm not cooning.
No, I don't agree.
I just feel
Yeah,
like, okay, you can say that, Tio.
well,
Then don't be
well,
mad. I
well.
say something about you.
I look at it like this. It's a fucking fight.
It's a fight.
A motherfucker's gonna say some
it's a
insane,
fight.
obnoxious shit. So what?
You get to
Fuck
hit him.
what this guy says. Get in the fuck. Get him back in the fight. The fuck
Yeah,
with this. People get so wrapped up, especially in the fight community. That's how Jose Aldo got knocked out. Some people don't. It's like, and you're gonna stir even in the comments. Like you're gonna stir yourself up over what the fuck another guy said to another guy that's about to go in the fucking ring. You just fucking look like an idiot. Like fuck
No,
what a guy says.
no, that's what me and Michael were talking about, right? Because there is some racist stuff that happened last week with this guy named Keyshawn Davis and whoever,
Yeah, I
right?
know about that
Yeah,
guy.
right. No, but here's our point because he sent the stuff, and all I said was, do I agree with it? No, but he gonna have to stand on whatever he did. He has to go fight about it. So
Yeah.
as long as you have to go stand in there and stand on business, then you can say whatever you want to say. My issue with Tio is he's scared to stand on business. He don't want to fight nobody.
And that's the opposing force. That's the yang to the yin right there. Is you got a lot of money, and and it's understandable how that would make somebody mad and throw them off their bus right there is because that personally would make me upset. But motherfucker, you gonna say all of this shit and now you ain't standing on it? No, hell no. Now that'll make me upset. But still in the same sense, I have to keep my composure and look at that like I won that.
Yeah,
He's talking out of his neck. Who the fuck is this guy? He's a nobody, and once you get that to yeah, his name is Teofimo Lopez, but he's a nobody because
yeah, I know
he
what you
won't
mean.
face me. Teofimo, if he's as great as everyone says he is, he faced the words that he said out of his mouth. He faced his words, but he's not. So you won that. So a true general in war does not respond to a cowardice community. A true general in war does not respond to a cowardice hiatus that a coward is on. He's gonna push with his journey and keep going. Yeah, I'm the general. I'm gonna sit with my hands behind my back and rub my beard and figure out what's next in my journey. I'm not gonna sit there and figure out what because if I'm so worried about what this clown who's not doing nothing is saying, that leaves room for everybody else to sneak diss me.
Yeah, it's Michael. Did you want to add anything onto that?
Nah, I think I
If
think
I,
I
I think
you said
DJ, I
what?
don't want anybody hating on him. I'll do my internet
Nah,
keyboard
I don't.
warrior stuff to
I don't
defend
think it
him.
was that big of a deal. I don't think it'll have that much attention either. I think it was the first time he said something controversial. Honestly,
It-
this episode is gonna be the first time they hear something controversial. So,
this episode, they're gonna. Well, no, it's gonna be the first time.
well, it won't be the first because Harris will be saying some crazy
I'll be
shit.
saying some stuff too. So, welcome to the show, Bruce. We don't censor people.
I,
Um,
I really hope I didn't say anything,
No, you're good.
we're good, man. Like we said, man. We
I,
you probably the craziest guest we've had, but
nah, we had a Darius.
Darius was.
Darius was talking crazy.
Yeah, man. So when we post a full episode, we will get rid of the parts where people's internet's going down. We don't want that on
okay.
there. But otherwise, you're good. We appreciate you coming on the show. I think we really only were planning for like a 30-minute episode because we didn't want to take up your time. But the combo can get so good sometimes. You just keep going, right? And we could probably still keep going.
I did have one more question.
Yeah, go
No,
ahead.
I don't mind. Let's go.
I have one more question, and just if you can answer it in like 3 to 5 minutes, cool. Michael J. White. I seen you had done some training with him, and I just want to know how that came about, how it was, and then what he said to you, like what the conversations was like.
Okay, quick story. Grandmaster Dennis Wesley Horton, American Shaolin Temple, founded in 1979 by Grandmaster Bobby Parker and Grandmaster Galen Eugene Griffey, rest in peace. Uh, American Shaolin Temple, our location was Rogers Park in Inglewood, and uh that's how I met Grandmaster Horton. Is him and my father grew up since kids, and my father, I used to get in a lot of fights in school and get kicked out, and I've been to a plethora of schools because of that. So one day he decided, he was like, man, you need to go see my good friend. So I go start training with him. We build a bond. He becomes my grandmaster. Is typical karate kid in like real life. Like this guy's taking me on journeys, trips, traveling with me, and all kind of things. And he has this really profound YouTube channel where it's very controversial. And he says in one of his things, well, you MMA motherfuckers, yeah, y'all suck. And the reason y'all suck is, you motherfuckers always need hand wraps when you punching. And it's not because you don't know how to, punch and hurt the opponent. It's because you don't know how to punch without hurting your damn self. And the shit just went viral. It was like a, 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 a good clip. Well, it didn't go by like 1 million views or even 100,000 views. Maybe got like 5,000, 10,000 views, but it went pretty good. For a guy that's just recording shit off of his Android in his
Yeah.
backyard. So, long story short, Michael Jai White got a hold of that video, and he had been working on a project. And this was what he told me out of his mouth. He had been working on a project where he he couldn't get this line for this one scene, and he was scrolling on the internet, and he came across my Grandmaster's video, and he said this shit is perfect, and he took the shit word for word, and then he said he put it in his movie Never Back Down, and after he put it in his movie, he couldn't find my Grandmaster, and he ended up getting in contact with him. They became good friends. They started training together. Long story short, exchanging knowledge with each other, shall I say. Long story short, I reached a certain level in my training where my grandmaster felt like he was going to reward me with the presence of Michael Jai White. So I didn't know what the fuck was happening. He was like, yeah, let's get in the car. So we were just traveling. I'm not gonna, say where, but we were just traveling. It was kind of a long little ride, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" It's kind of an hour, 30 minutes from where our general location was, and I'm like, "Okay, it's approaching like a big ass house, with the nice cars in it. This is interesting." The motherfucker put some shit in the keypad. We walk in the door. He closed the door. My grandmaster, that is, and this big ass black gate opens, and Michael Jai White walks out, and I recorded that too, and I was like, "Oh shit!" From there, that's when I really like. I was like, "Okay, my childhood dream is coming true." I felt like somebody that day, because he was expecting me. He knew I was coming.
Yeah.
So, bro, he just took me in the back. He's like, "Yeah, he got a room, like a theater room with all the movies that he did, and it's just like the posters around. It's like, yeah, when I was doing this movie, and he's just naming all these producers and actors that I watch and all the, and I'm like, damn, he's just talking to me about this shit, and it's just interesting. And I wasn't starstruck, but it was a breath of fresh air from life. It was a breath of reality. And and I asked him, I said, hey, I said, how did you achieve such high rank in the arts? And the only thing he answered with was consistency. And then the first thing he wanted to do was he said, well, let me show you this. Well, stand up real quick. Let me show you this. So see if you, and then he just starts doing his thing, and there's cameras rolling, and man, it was a fucking beautiful experience. We go in the backyard, and he's showing me techniques. He let me get personal footage on my phone, and he's just a cool dude, man. And he was just, and at that time I think I was preparing for a fight. I was going to do I think I had a shot to somebody said something about a title fight, and I was preparing for that. And it was just the perfect thing because right before a fight I was in camp with Michael Jai White. The fight ended up not happening, and after that, I mean, I ended up meeting his family too. I just didn't meet his wife, but I met his daughters. And yeah, man, everything was beautiful, man. I went home that day happy, and I got that experience. And my grandmaster said once I rank up, I can earn that shit again. So
No, that's what's up. I was curious because I seen it on your page, and I wanted to know how it came about. I don't know so much about him like personally on a personal level, but I know I've seen him in movies and stuff, and I know he does a lot of movies and he directs movies, and it's always like combat and stuff like that. But I also know that he also trains it too. So I was
yeah,
curious. I just wanted to know how you ended up training with him because I seen on your page, and I thought it was really interesting, dude.
and to defend him really quick, he is a real fighter, man. That dude is as legit as they come. You don't got to see him in a cage. All that matters is just know that if that man is attacked in the streets, he is going home.
Right, Harrison, where you at, man?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
still
just
have to take care of something real quick, but
Oh, you're good. It's
uh,
all right. I think it's coming on that time, anyways.
No, but once again, Bruce,
Yeah, we appreciate you, man. Good
we,
episode. Man.
we this was a good episode. This was good. We had a good time.
Good
Thank you
episode.
for taking your time to come through. We really appreciate the insight you gave just as a fighter, just your opinion on everything, right? And like we said, we don't want people to come on here and feel like they have to filter themselves. Because that doesn't make good content. It really doesn't. And I'm not trying to be Dana White filtering and censoring people.
Now
So
look, real quick before you continue, I'm gonna say this. And now, if these white folks see this and they want to give me a check, and they see this and don't want to give me a check, I'm gonna hit you motherfuckers up, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey man, hey, take take this one off the
no,
air,
we got
man."
you. Then. We got you.
And
No,
I'll
of
fuck with.
course. No, but thank you. Mike, did you have any closing words?
No, I don't, man. I just I appreciate you, and I appreciate you coming on.
Oh, and
And
here's one thing that we do want to say. We don't like doing like one-offs, right? So we'll bring you back up. We'd like
yeah,
to have
for
you back
sure.
up.
Especially
We
this
don't
was a
like
good
For
episode, so
sure.
we
yeah,
definitely
like
look
we
forward to
don't
bringing you
we
back
don't
on.
like just hitting up people once and then just saying, all right, we posted a video, that's it, right? So we'll be in touch. Keep us posted when you're fighting again too. Having a pre-fight interview, stuff like that, maybe even a face-off with your next opponent, since we're starting to incorporate that kind of stuff too into our content. Um, but yeah, man, Michael, did you have anything?
I
And
don't have
Bruce,
any
please
closing con. You
leave
said
your
what?
socials. Your socials. What are your socials so people can follow you and stuff?
Bruce Badass 125 on Instagram, and yeah, that's all I.
Bet. Michael, anything else?
No, I don't have nothing closing. Appreciate you, bro, and thank you for coming on because this was a good episode. We appreciate it, dude. We really do.
Yes, sir. Draconian combat episode. We don't know.
52.
We'll be back this week. Stay tuned for the socials. We're gonna be reposting. We got so many clips from this episode. It's really not even funny. All right, y'all.